We got a great response yesterday to our segment with Fox 10 News investigative reporter Brendan Kirby providing information about all this coronavirus recovery legislation. Brendan joining me now again live from his house today with more on all of this. So Brendan, let's get right to it. Lots of people want to know if the stimulus checks are going to be taxed.
Well, Byron, if we're talking about federal taxes, the answer is no. Those direct payments are not going to be considered income. But if we're talking about state taxes, the answer is maybe. The State Department of Revenue is reviewing the law, and a spokesman tells me that some families may end up paying higher taxes as a result. Now, State Senator Chris Elliott of Baldwin County says he plans to introduce legislation to make clear that that money would be tax-free, but that would have to pass the legislature. And remember here, we're talking about the $1,200 per person stimulus checks from the federal government, not the expanded federal unemployment insurance. That money definitely will be taxed.
Yeah, okay. What about those small business loans? Will the businesses be taxed on those monies?
Well, to the extent that they remain loans, no. That money would have to be paid back over time, and it would be a loan and would not be considered taxable income. However, a lot of companies have the opportunity to turn those loans into grants if they follow certain rules, like keeping their payroll and their workers on staff. And if they do become grants, then that as well might end up being taxable income and be taxed by the state. And Senator Elliott says he wants to address that in his legislation as well and make sure companies won't have to pay taxes on that.
That would be good news. Well, Brendan, a viewer named Bob contacted us and wanted to know, what if you're on Social Security and you filed your income tax return, but you don't have direct deposit? What happens then?
But you'll still get your money. You don't need to have direct deposit, but if you don't have direct deposit, you'll end up waiting longer, and perhaps substantially longer. The IRS is encouraging people to make sure you provide your updated banking information. The Department of Treasury says it soon is going to have an online portal to let you do that over the internet. And the tax software company TurboTax recently partnered with the IRS, and they've got a free service on their website that would allow you to do that as well. And this is also going to work for people who made too little money to have to file a tax return, but they're still eligible for this stimulus money as well. So if you are in that category at all, if you filed taxes, haven't filed taxes, but you're due a stimulus check and you don't have your current banking information on file, try to contact the government and get that to them. Otherwise, you might end up waiting weeks longer to get the money. Whereas if you have that online banking set up, you can get it in a matter of days.
All right, Brendan, thank you. Brendan will be back to answer more questions from you at 5. You can ask him your questions at brendan.kirby@fox10tv.com.